This is exciting.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see everybody joining today. So we will be starting on time. I'm just admitting a few more people, but we'll definitely be starting on the dot just to be mindful of everybody's schedule. Ideally, you will have your name on your screen and your camera on if that's possible. Of course, if you're driving or anything like that, we wouldn't want you to have the camera on. But please know that this is going to be an interactive webinar. So we will have discussion and you'll also be sharing on your end, okay? So make sure your audio sounds great, make sure your camera looks great, and also make sure you have some water, something if you've been just back to back on meetings, make sure you do, stay hydrated and we'll get started, okay? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I do have an agenda for everybody, so we'll be going through that. So my name is Lori Relas, and the co-host for today's webinar is Felice Perez, so she'll be joining me as well. And then we also have a third person as well that will be leading the call, which is Vanessa. So we're all part of Oddate Media and Progreda team. And I'm going to share a little bit about what's up ahead. Give me 1 second here. So here's our agenda for today. We will have introductions by our team, just in case if you haven't met one or any of us, you'll be able to kind of get an overview. I will also ask you guys to introduce yourself. So if you're on this webinar, that means you're a Progreda user, but more importantly, that means you're part of our community. And what we're hoping is that you guys can network amongst each other and get to know amongst each other, and also that you can start seeing the other industries that are using Progreda, and that you leave with a wealth of knowledge of how you can also use Progreda for your business from inspiration of what other people are doing. After the introductions, we will also ask you guys for feedback. So while I do have an agenda and our team created a PowerPoint presentation, we don't want to just stick to the script, right? I want this to be a conversational presentation, and I will definitely be taking that feedback that you guys provide. And if I can answer in those questions or those concerns on today's webinar, we'll definitely do our absolute best to do that. Or if we need to also connect with you after the webinar to make sure your concerns are addressed, we will definitely take the time to do that as well. Again, I'm hoping that you guys get maximum value here. Everybody's in different industries. Everybody has a different team size. So it's hard to just do one presentation that matches everybody. We're all unique. So that's where feedback comes in. Please give us your feedback and interact. The more we hear from you, the more we can help. And then the third item after that is we'll be discussing some landing pages and funnels best practices. And then we're going to go into the automations, the top 3 automations you should have in your business if you don't have them already, or that you can continue to add into your business. And then we'll wrap up with a questions and answers section. So that way you have an opportunity. If some questions come to mind through the presentation, then you can definitely get those answered by either me, Vanessa, or Felice at the end, okay? So just want to make sure everybody can hear me fine. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready to get started. Awesome. I see a few thumbs up. Amazing, amazing. Looks great. Perfect. So here's a little bit about me. So I'm operations manager here at Oddate Media and Progreda. I have over 10 years of experience in helping business owners optimize operations. What I mean by that is just get the highest return on investment. I've worked anywhere from a small mom and pop shop that rented linens up to a corporate company managing $3 million on any given day on construction projects. So operations and business, it's like second nature to me because I've been in it for so long. And one fun fact about me is I love coffee and I love traveling. And if I can combine both of those, I'm winning. So that's just a little bit about me. And then I'll hand it off to Felice to introduce herself.
Hey everyone, so I'm Felice Perez. I'm the Progreda web developer. So I mostly work on the funnels, on landing pages, or for on automations, pretty much anything with Progreda, then I would most likely be the one contacting you because I also work with the projects. I'm offshore. I'm in the Philippines, so I'm always 8 to 12 hours ahead of you. And fun fact about me, I'm an ex-nurse. So medical field who turns out to love. So that's me, and I'm handing off next to my teammate Vanessa.
Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa. I'm truly happy to be here. I'm an accounting manager and social.
Next slide, Lori.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Vanessa.
Okay, awesome. So hey, my name is Vanessa. I'm truly happy to be here. I'm an accounting manager and social media expert. I also am the project manager's assistant. So if you ever work with us in a project, I will be participating so it can be a successful one. I'm from Venezuela. I work remotely, but I'm planning to travel a lot and know the rest of the world. A fun fact about me is I love to film and edit videos for social media platforms. So that's what I love social media so much. And I always plan to help you grow in social medias and also help your business grow. So thank you so much. Now let's ask a few questions to get to know each other and get some feedback from you. Now we have a few questions to be answered by each one of you. Let's start with you, Jeff.
Okay,
How are you doing today?
I'm great.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Can you please tell us your industry?
Yeah, we provide small and medium-sized businesses a platform to grow their credit score inside the United States right now. We're going to be expanding beyond that, but right now it's in the US based to be able to help them get credit and capital for their business needs.
Okay, that's awesome. Can you tell me now how would you rate Progreda on a scale from 1 to 10? And what would you need to make it a 10 if it's not a 10 already?
It's a 12. The only thing holding it back any further is me. I'm a bad
Okay,
pilot.
that's awesome. I'm so happy. We're here to help you, so don't worry about that. And
Sounds
how
good.
much do you use Progreda for your business?
Well, I've been building the funnels. You guys have helped me do some extracurricular stuff, and what I'm doing is a test case for our company that to scale it to thousands of people. So I'm the test candidate, and they figured if I can do it, anyone else will be able to do it. So I'm stumbling through it, and I get all the ideas, but actually making it work is more difficult for me. You know, I don't know. I'm 63, dating myself, right? So I go back a few generations, but I get the hang of it. I totally understand all the dynamics in it, but actually making it happen sometimes is frustrating because I go back and forth between the training videos and you guys and all that. But it's a fantastic system. I mean, I just had mentioned that to Andy the other day. It's just incredible what power it contains inside it if we can learn how to harness it properly.
Oh, awesome. And what would you say is your favorite feature in the platform?
Automation. I've got so this week I launched a campaign. I've done 1,200 emails as of today with an 87% accuracy rate, open rate, and 3.7% click-through rate. How do I know that? I know that because my Progreda system is working.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's go with Fernando.
Hi guys, my name is Fernando. I am a business owner. I do photography and video for social events.
Okay, cool. And tell me, how would you rate Progreda on a scale from 1 to 10? And what would you need to make it a 10 if it's not a 10 already?
Well, I just started with Progreda. So I want to say
Oh,
maybe
okay,
just like
cool.
a few weeks ago. I'm still getting the hang of it.
Okay.
But it's a lot of technical stuff. It's a
Mm.
lot of things that if you don't know how to, if you've never used automation, it might be a little complicated.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're here to support you. You always can join this webinar. We'll be having it once a month, so you can always join, and we will help you through your path.
Perfect.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Fernando. Let's go with Jeff Cunningham.
Jeff J. Cunningham,
Hello.
.com used to be. By the way, I'm a brand ambassador, and what I mean by Progreda, we care about your progression daily. I've really owned it. Me coming back from some of the software business that, I put thousands of dollars when I learned from multi-million-dollar business owner, a window guy I used to sell windows for. I saw the frustration of stuff that could have been simplified. And those who don't know me, I apologize. I may run for president of the United States. And people think I'm joking. I'm dead serious. I love capitalism. I love freedom. I love what we're about. And I own a consulting firm called Changing Life Consulting, where some of the best people are on it. And to scale and exit a business, you need a good CRM. So I love so much stuff. I've dabbled in ClickFunnels and all this other stuff. Progreda makes it so much fun. It was actually hard to be on hand. I've actually just recently partnered with Felice and the team and Lori to actually build out some of the stuff so I can focus on my genius of ideas and they can fulfill. And that's been a huge blessing to me to get some of the stuff we have coming out on. But I love how it can, you can send out emails. I get so many DMs. I'm Jeff the Entrepreneur at there, so I can actually have my executive assistant look it down. We actually just went in the booking calendar today and switched it all. We had someone do a paid consulting call and he was able to book a calendar and we got it right for the Zoom. So it gets an email right through Progreda's calendar. We're getting away from Calendly and using as much stuff as we can in Progreda just to track history on it. So literally, I do personal branding for CEOs. I've gotten pretty well known in this space by telling a story. Lost my brother to drugs, fentanyl, like 6 years ago. My dream is to build the next biggest Starbucks called Kokomo J's. I know Lori, I just realized she likes coffee. So maybe she can travel to all our locations as we take over the world. We'll probably be in the Philippines with Felice and maybe we'll come there. I really want to think worldwide. I don't have a problem not dreaming big. So, but I'm so glad that Progreda is a big part of this. And I look to doing trainings as well as getting good and really furthering the mission of what Andy and Lori and Felice and the whole team is building out.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. Appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Let's continue with Riva. Hi, Riva. Welcome.
Sorry, hi.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. I'm so glad to have you here. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what industry are you in?
Yes, my name is Coach Riva. I am in the health and fitness industry. I own a company called Blue Jay Fitness, and I have been working with Progreda for maybe about 5 months now, since December.
Yes. And can you tell me how much do you use Progreda for your business?
How much?
Mm-hmm.
So daily, I'm kind of implementing a system and getting a routine set for myself so that I can go in and manage everything like I like to. But I pretty much use it every day.
Awesome. And what are some challenges that you're facing or need support with?
So right now, I guess I need to focus more on maybe just nurturing the audience that I did get, because I got in a lot of leads through the campaign that I was running. I got a few leads through there, but I'm just kind of fresh on the theme for a lot of people to invest maybe at their price, or maybe it's an audience thing. So I would like to maybe just kind of nurture my audience a little more and use that email list that I have for selling.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Manuel?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today?
Good, and you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Can you introduce yourself and tell us what industry you're in?
Yes, I'm actually in the mattress manufacturing business. Since COVID, we started selling direct to consumer mattresses. So we've developed that into using Progreda. By before we were getting customers and writing them down on notes and everything, and it was just a hassle because we had to figure out what notes went to what customer. And with Progreda, we have everything in a section where every day we go in and see what customer is left to go and after follow the lead and what section is that person in, so we can go ahead and have that more organized as it was before, better than now.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And tell me, how would you rate Progreda on a scale from 1 to 10? And what would you need to make it a 10 if it's not already?
Well, I mean, what Blue Jay was saying, what I would like to do more is to nurture my audience and be like more community based. Because right now I do have a lot going on, like a lot of like 1,000 customers, 1,000 leads that I would like to integrate into a community and just be like educating all about mattresses and see what we could do to service them and in the future what we can do. Also what Jeff was saying, I forgot, but never mind. Yeah. I want to say an 8 or a 9. It's very, very high there, but I just have that little bit more. I wish I had that little bit more time to concentrate and really like get as much as I can out of Progreda.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Next will be Nicolina.
Hi.
Hi, Nicolina. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Can you introduce yourself?
What'd you say?
Can you introduce yourself and tell us what industry are you in?
Yes. Hi, my name is Nicolina Teplitz. I'm the owner of Glam Sophisticated Makeup Academy here in Las Vegas. And yeah, so that's pretty much a little bit about me. And I'm excited to be here. Andy just invited me, so I'm excited to hear more about Progreda, even though I joined Progreda, I want to say May or maybe I think April, but it took us about 2 months to build everything for me. I feel like I was probably the most complicated client you had with the whole setup with my funnels and with checkout pages and different programs I had and, giving access and all that, because I also have an online program too for my students. So I think that took about 2 months to build it all. But I think I started like April or May.
Okay, that's cool. Tell us, what is your favorite feature on the platform?
My favorite feature is definitely that I'm able to track all my clients, well, not clients, but leads from all the platforms. So we generate leads from Facebook, we generate leads from Instagram, we generate leads from, thank you, Jeff. I follow you on social media. And we generate leads from our website. We also partner up with another company, which is kind of like a directory for beauty schools. And also we generate leads organically. So like so many ways in different, social media platforms or platforms in general. So I love that everything is on one place. And the second thing I love is when someone texts us their phone number, not text, but let's say if it's a DM and they text us or DM us a phone number or email, everything goes in and automatically updates. I think that's the best thing about Progreda. And then overall, I love that I can, my VA, she's on here right now, Carla, you'll see her. She is also, taking this training because she mostly works for Progreda, to be honest, since I had a baby recently, so I haven't really been so active. So my sales team and my virtual assistant are the ones really working the Progreda the most. And that's the reason why I have her on here, so she can learn even more.
Awesome. Yeah, you are one of our most successful clients and you will have a feature later in our presentation.
Yay, that's awesome. I love that.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Let's go with Lucy.
Hi there, guys. Lucy Dawson from Dawson Design. We are prints and we do promotional items in a very, very competitive, it's a very, very competitive industry internationally. And I got into Progreda about a year ago. I must admit I haven't been frequent enough to take the time to go and learn all the aspects of what it entails. And I think it's quite a lot, especially when you're not that technically minded when it comes to social media and things like that. So that's been a bit of a challenge for us. But I just like what the previous lady said about bringing it all together. We have set up a couple of things with ours. And there were one or two things that just needed to be adjusted so that we could get it working well. But, you know, I try and get on these trainings just to motivate myself, just to keep going and get Progreda growing so it can really take over a lot of the things that I don't want to do anymore. So I'm excited about it. Thank you.
Awesome. And we will love you to have you here every month. Yeah, we'll be learning a lot. What are you hoping to get out of today's mastermind?
I think really what I'm looking for is just, I really want to take it where you can see the whole system flow. You know, I'm very visual and I want to see it where, you know, how do you start? You know, we had the Kickstart program and I felt like I was getting little bits and pieces. But just because of the way my brain works, I need to see it visually from beginning to end. So I'm thinking, you know, just having something where you can say, hey, this is where you start, this is where you lead, and this is where you go. And I think for small business owners, especially when, you know, we're all so busy because we're wearing so many hats in that as well, I think that's possibly a reason why people don't get started as quickly, because it does take so much time to learn and know and filter out and things like that. And then you still got to think about how you're going to put it all together, what your campaign's going to be, who you're going to reach out to, etc., etc. So I think overall it's a lot. So I'm just hoping for a start to finish and just to see how the whole thing runs together.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Lucy. Let's go with Tyron. Hi, Tyron, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm doing a pickup. I'm sorry, pickup. So it's 6:45. It's almost 7 my time. So I'm sorry about that. I'm new to Progreda. I just signed up last week.
Okay, cool. And what are you hoping to get out of today's mastermind?
Just learning how to run the CRM was the main reason why I signed up. So I am a licensed insurance agent. I have over like 268 clients. Well, that's how many clients I have now, 268. So I need a system, and I need Progreda to help me out because I don't have a CRM. I'm still running everything off of a Google spreadsheet.
Okay, cool. I'm really happy that you're here. You will be learning a lot. So thank you so much for sharing.
Okay.
I think we only have Carla left.
Hello, good morning. A good day to all. I am Carla. I am Nicolina's virtual assistant, and I am here to also learn more about the program about the platform, because it's very helpful in carrying tasks every day, especially for me because now Nicolina is busy with her family. So I am taking over with almost all the sales tasks. So I'm very much thankful to the platform because it really helps a lot, especially when it comes to conversations and integrations with DMs and messages, also text messages, and reaching out to our clients.
Thank you
And
so much, Carla.
I've been using Progreda for 3 months now, and as per my experience, it's really a great platform, and I am hoping to learn more out of this seminar. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for sharing that. Let's go with Marvin.
Oh, good evening.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm well, fine, thank you. I am a business all over, my company name. I am a funding consultant nationwide, just helping qualified customers who need unsecured loans. They're different than the traditional way of getting loans. Most lenders and banks require, a business plan, upfront money, down payment, reserves, and all of that. So we are based on your credit worth, which should be 650 across the board, and an annual income of $27,000. If you have that, then we can really talk and get you into a position where you can get your project up and running. So my goal is to come here and learn Progreda so I can attract those clientele. So I'm pretty new in terms of Progreda, but I do know of the company and I know it very well.
Okay, thank you so much. And what are you hoping to get out of today's mastermind?
Well, a little more than where I'm at now. I'm nowhere, I'm just starting out.
So you need to know all the basics.
I need to know all the basics.
Awesome. Yeah, you will. Don't worry about that. We're here to support you.
Great.
Now the last one is Ken. Hi, Ken.
Hi, how's it going? I'm Ken. I work, actually, I'm the executive assistant for Jeff the Entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I read Andy Audette's book, No More Average. So his wife is still on. I don't know if she read it, but great book. So I do everything. Basically, I'll book the calls, the appointments, I'll do the calendar. It's all in one. There's so much to learn. And, I was thinking basically, if you had like 15-minute segments, like one on the calendar, one on maybe the contacts, one on automation. So, at my leisure, I could probably learn it better. Most times, basically the easiest way to figure out something's going wrong, just refresh the page. I figured that out after about 10 minutes. And man, I just have to refresh it. But all in all, it's been pretty good with the calendar and with the contacts and also with the invoicing.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing that, Ken. So that was it for these questions. Thank you very much to all of you for sharing that with us. And now we will start the webinar. I hope you'll learn a lot today. Just grab a notebook because we'll be giving you a lot of information.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, so as Vanessa mentioned, we're going to jump into the presentation, but I do appreciate everybody sharing because I even took a little bit notes myself. The top 3 trends that came up was systems, right? How do we create systems so you guys can have more freedom? We'll definitely have that on today's presentation. Second one that came up a lot was time. We all have limited time. And so I also have a few tricks that I'll be presenting on today so that you can do more in less time in your business or that someone else in your team can do for you. And then the third one that came up is efficiency, right? We can go that route of trying to learn every little element, or let's just learn the top 3 things or the top 5 things that are going to generate revenue, because at the end of the day, we all want to make sure that we're winning while we're using Progreda. And also, in case you guys have not received that update, we do have a mini course that we recently completed with 41 micro clips, meaning that they're 10 minutes or less. So I'll make sure that you guys all have access to that as well, because we can only present so much in a 1 hour, mastermind, but we want to make sure you guys are all equipped, okay? So I will go ahead and go into the presentation. Best way to do it is either have a pen or piece of paper. That way you can kind of create a list of your action items. Okay, awesome. If you have a notepad, you're good to go. The other way that you can also do this presentation is you can actually probably open up another tab and then have your Progreda account open if you want to actually click around, because we'll have screenshots, but some people learn more by clicking around, okay? Whichever one you prefer, it's entirely up to you. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, awesome. So on the first topic we're going to jump into is the landing pages and automations, right? So let's first start with, if you already have a landing page, then you might start thinking, okay, I already have this. Why do I need to know more? But the good thing about landing pages is you can have unlimited on your Progreda. So if you already have a landing page right now, then this is just a good reminder to make sure to start marking it everywhere. And if you don't have a landing page, this is that segment where you want to write down that information so that you can launch your first landing page, okay? Now, the reason the landing pages and automations are important is because this is the discovery phase for other people to get to know you, right? So back in the day, before the digital world, you ideally only met people through in-person conversations. So you might meet someone at a gas station. You might have to go to an event and meet someone. And the only way they knew about you was if you had a one-to-one interaction, right? However, now you can do this, you can do landing pages, which is not a website, but what a landing page is a simple page where someone will get something from you in return for them submitting their information. So they're just at that stage where they're discovering what services, products, or expertise you offer. So if we look at the customer life cycle, people can only join your circle, your CRM, if they have a starting point, right? The great thing is, though, it doesn't just end with a landing page. So if someone does put their name, email, or phone number when they visit your landing page, well, what happens next? If you're doing anything manual right now, so if you do have someone that's interested in your services and you guys have to go back and forth between, hey, what's your name? What's your email? What's the best time to connect? Or if you're doing any type of qualification one by one, you're going to run out of time, right? And it's going to be very hard for you to reach thousands or hundreds of people. However, if you have a landing page and you have the automations to back that up, the great thing is you can promote the landing page all you want on every opportunity that you have, on every social media platform that you have. And what you're doing is you're pushing them to visit this one amazing page that you have. And then Progreda takes care of the next few steps. Now, how many steps you want is entirely up to you. Some people can set up an automation where all that happens are 3 automated steps. Maybe they get a text, maybe they get an email, maybe they get a voicemail drop. That's entirely up to you. We've seen some very robust build outs, like Nicolina mentioned. She has a very robust build out, and there are many, many steps that happen after one landing page. But if we're just starting, so if you have no landing page, I just want you to keep it in mind, even if there's only 3 or 5 automations set up on the back end, that's better than 0 automations, right? Because as we all know, we can only reach out to so many people one by one. So what the landing page and automations help you with is that discovery phase. Now, what a lot of people don't know, may not know, is that the landing page and the automations can actually also help you with the purchase phase. And it can actually also help you with the billing, AKA collecting that money. And also it can help you with retention or customer service. So it doesn't have to end with just the discovery. That is just the very, very first section that they join. So just to kind of get an idea, who here already has a landing page? If you put on the chat a Y, just the abbreviation, Y, that means yes, you got one. And if you don't have one, put an N. Okay, so Andy has a Y. I would hope so. Okay, Jeff Shada. Okay, awesome. Jeff C. Cunningham, Y. Yes, okay, awesome. So that's good. And if you are an N, don't worry. This is going to give you kind of the framework on what you need for landing pages. And I also hope that if you already have a landing page, it gives you an idea of other landing pages that you can use. I was reading an article recently, and it actually is beneficial to have multiple landing pages because each landing page will speak to someone else. So I'll give you an example. Jeff tried to put a 10, so he has 10 landing pages. Each landing page can speak to someone else. So you can have a landing page for an event. You can have a landing page for an ebook. You can have a whole landing page for a 5-day challenge that you have coming up. You can even have a landing page for any type of mastermind, even like this, or hey, I'm doing a coffee meetup. It all just comes down to how creative do you want to get with getting people connected and starting with you, okay? And the good thing is, once you have the landing page, it's just going to automatically funnel that information, the name, email, and phone number into Progreda. So you should not be sitting there putting in manually a person's name, plus their email, plus what industry. You want the landing page and the automations on Progreda to do that for you. And also ideally sets up appointments for you. Now, here's the reflection point. Would your business be able to run if you took 1 week off? Now, ideally, yes. So if you took a week off, let's say you won an expenses all paid trip to Mexico or Italy or wherever you choose, would you feel confident that you didn't have your laptop with you, your phone with you, your Zoom with you? Would you feel comfortable that for that week it could run? If you're a why, if you're a why, then that's amazing. And we definitely would want to hear some tips about that for sure. And if you're an N, then let's get started in setting up some items so that when someone's interested in your product on Monday, Progreda can take care of them for you for the next 3, 4, 5 days. We never want to have a client or a lead or an interest waiting on you just to get information, okay? Here's what automations can help with: higher productivity. So instead of sending manual emails, let's get some automatic emails. Quality control. If you have an assistant or would like to get an assistant, the only way that you can control the same experience for each customer is if you have the same steps for each customer. So if one customer comes in and they're supposed to get an email, a call, an introductory video, you want every customer to get that. If you get a customer that only gets the email and the video, but they didn't get the call, that's losing a little bit of quality control. It can also help you with increased performance. So if you set it up correctly, you can have the system do more touch points while you're sleeping or while you're out in the airport or out in the park. It can also help you reduce operating costs. So this, I would definitely put a star by it on your notes and put, what am I spending money on that could potentially be automated so that I can reduce my costs if you're in a position where you're trying to reduce costs. And it can also help you with consistent sales, because that ties into quality control. If your product or services, if you're trying to keep that reputation, fast response time, great customer service, great delivery turnaround, then you have to make sure you're set up so that people are not waiting on you. Now, let's start with workflow automations and how this is applicable. So this is the back-end view, right? I will show examples of the front-end view of a landing page, meaning that's where the photos are and all that fun stuff, but this is the back-end view. So this is what me and Felice actually go off of. When someone says, hey, I want an automation where my customer gets a video, an email, a voicemail drop, a text message, we go and create a little drawing like this. So this is an exclusive drawing that I'm sharing with you guys. And it all starts with the lead magnet. So if you look at the top left, the first thing you guys have to identify and be clear on is, what is your lead magnet? Lead magnet means, what are you giving for free? The ebook, the call, a consultation, a video, whatever that is. The next thing that needs to happen automatically is a thank you page. That's where you can showcase your personality. You can put a video that says, hey, thank you for signing up for this free item or free exclusive item, but I want to share a little bit about me. Then on the back end, that's where we get into the bottom half, is there's the lead magnet delivery. So as soon as someone signs up into their landing page with an email, name, and phone number, they get that in their inbox. Why? Because you promised that they were going to get something, right? You don't want to wait 48 hours for that delivery. It's instant. Then you can actually set it up where now they're subscribed to get 3 emails, I would say at the minimum. And the reason I say at the minimum is because they might take some time to actually check their inbox, or you can deliver 3 valuable pieces of information across 3 emails. I like to do these emails in a format of like, did you know? For example, I just recently created some email sequences, and a lot of it was based on, did you know that most people actually open text messages instead of emails? That's valuable to someone who's interested in marketing. So you would just have to ask yourself, what are 3 emails that I can send to someone or the system that will be of value? So Reva, for example, she's in fitness. She would have 3 emails probably guiding her customers along, did you know that the hardest part about fitness is consistency? And she could use those emails for reminders, accountability, and even that coaching support that someone needs as they're going through a fitness journey, right? So we never assume that just because someone just signed up on your landing page, they're going to become a customer or they're automatically going to get, your product. Sometimes it takes 7 touch points on average for someone to actually recognize your brand. So 7 touch points. So a minimum 3. The cool thing is you can also add text messages. It's not on here, but you could do 3 emails and 3 text messages. Personally, I look at my text messages more than I look at my emails. So I always tell people, if you want my attention, send me a text. So you can also do that with Progreda, but this right here is the minimum you should have. The lead magnet, the thank you page, ideally with the video of you showcasing your personality, showing the value that you can provide, then instant delivery, they get to download it, and then 3 emails. Okay, so this is the power of the workflows and the automations. Here are the best practices, and I'm sharing this because I've seen hundreds of landing pages since I joined our date team back in 2020. So I've seen it all. I've seen amazing landing pages, and I see some that could use a little bit of improvement. So let's do a quality check here. Your landing pages should have one unique selling proposition or the lead magnet. So it's hard for someone to take the next step if you're offering 5 different things on one page. Confusion equals no action. So if you have 5 ideas, make it 5 landing pages, but just make sure that each page has a centralized focus. Make sure that your hero shot, which is that page, the picture at the very top, is engaging, because people on average only spend 3 to 5 seconds on a page. So if you look great with the photo, if it shows context about what you do, if you're a coach, you should be on stage. If you're in fitness, it should have you working out. If you sell mattresses, you should have mattresses on there. And if you sell plants, you should have the most beautiful plants on there. So that hero shot is just going to show a little bit more about your business that the text can't show. Because some people are visual, some people are more into text. So that hero shot image really is going to make you stand out from the other businesses out there. You also want to show the benefits. Here's the hardest part about business owners, and I've noticed also entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's hard to get to speak about ourselves, right? Sometimes it's hard to share all your experiences and how you can help people. But I highly, highly recommend creating that elevator pitch and getting used to bragging about yourself. Why? Because you will attract the person that can relate to your story and that needs those services. So if you keep information from your customers, then they might not know that you're the right fit, right? The reason I said, hey, I have over 10 years of experience is because I want people to know me as the person that's been in business for over 10 years. And I'm only 31. So keep sharing exactly what benefits they get from working with you. That way they can connect with you and see exactly what problem you're going to solve. So also the 4th item is the social proof. So it's one thing for us to speak about ourselves, right? I can say I have the 10 years of experience. I can say I can help people in operations, but it is 10 times more valuable if you have other people vouching for you. So get some testimonials. You can get them in video or you can get them in text. But the more testimonials, the more reviews that you have, the better, so that people can also share their experience firsthand and you're not having to summarize it for them. And the 5th item is the call to action. So you just want to be super clear. What do you want people to do as soon as they meet you and land on your page? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to fill out a questionnaire? Or do you want them to just process that information, and then after they've done a few steps on their end, then you'll connect with them on the call? So it just starts with clarity. Not everybody will purchase right away, but if you want to make an offer right away, you can also do that. And you can actually edit templates on your account. So this is something you definitely want to check on your Progreda account. There's a template called Event Registration Template. And I'm actually going to share what that looks like. So that event registration template looks like this. So if you go to sites, and you're going to see one that's called Event Registration Template. And when it comes to editing, now this is actually a real person, he's a real coach, and he had an event coming up. So here is where you would get creative. This text probably doesn't apply to your business, so you definitely want to make up your own text. But I just want to show you guys how this template can be transformed. So I'm only going to edit a few items. So when I mentioned the hero, that's what goes up here. And here's why pictures are super important, because that's how people are going to be able to get more, understand more about what you do. So when you see a template, just want to give everybody the peace of mind on how easy it is to edit an image. You click on it and you will just have to upload your items. Now I have hundreds of pictures, but I'll quickly upload one. I keep only one folder of business related items. I choose that photo. And in this folder is where you want to probably add anywhere from 5 to 15 images that connect to the freebie that you're doing. So if you're doing an event, you want event photos. If you're selling your ebook, you want your ebook photos. If you have testimonials, you might want pictures of the people speaking. And just like that, I switched it from Richard's image to our logo. Ideally, I would put a photo of us. This right here is the form. A lot of people don't know, but you can actually change it. If you want more than 3 items, you can change it so that you can ask for more things. There's a person that needed to know, for example, how long someone had been in business. So one of the questions they asked was, have you been in business? How long have you been in business? And that means that when they got the information, they already knew if someone had 6 months in business, 10 months in business, or 20 years in business. And the copy that's in this template is set up so that it flows into the problem the person might be facing and then the solutions. The more clear you can speak to the person's problems and the solution that you have for them, the better they're going to be able to connect. So I'll give you a real life example. Back in the day, I did have, for a moment, a fitness coaching business. And the way that I asked people were just three points. What do you find is the hardest thing to do with fitness? A lot of people always say the food is the hardest, the nutrition is the hardest. The second most common was, I don't have the time. The travel with work and everything is not easy. And then the third one was lack of motivation. Now, how do I translate that to a landing page? I would put on here, do you struggle with fitness nutrition? And then I would explain how I can help them with that. I provide a guide that shows you step-by-step instructions on how you eat for 7 days. The second one was, I lack motivation. Do you lack motivation when it comes to working out? Then I would write at the bottom, what I can help you with is providing constant motivation and accountability, and so on and so forth. So the landing page is as if you want to write it as if you had someone in front of you and you were explaining the benefits. And I always say sometimes shorter is better, just because, like I said, going back to one of the points, sometimes people only stay on the page for 3 to 5 seconds. So here's just an example of a page. It's actually a template ready to use. So if you are a VA for somebody, so if you're a VA for a customer that has Progreda, this would be a good one to start editing. Like I said, it's under the templates called Event Registration Templates. Okay, but before you edit, just remember the items that you will need would be, what is the focus of it? The image, high quality image, get those benefits, get the testimonials, and a strong call to action. Okay, now here's another example of somebody that actually has a landing page with a clear call to action. This one we actually did ourselves. Oh, let me go back. So Vera Jones has a coaching program for conflict, and her landing page is focused on getting a sign up. So it doesn't always have to be for a free item. She just happens to have multiple landing pages to the point that this one is strictly to generate revenue. So this is the image, clearly putting her logo there, her image, and what it's about. It's conflict. That's why this person has like their hands in their head, like I gotta figure out my life. And right here is a video. So in this video, she's able to showcase her expertise, and then she explains a little bit more in text. And this right here allows people to sign up. So you can actually set it up. You can either take a small ticket payment, meaning $100, $200. You can take a mid-ticket payment, $1,000. You can take a high ticket payment, $15,000. So it can actually happen for you as long as you're very clear, what do you want the landing page to lead to? So someone can actually go on her page right now and sign up for $14.99. This would be that scenario. You're out in vacation, you're out, with family on holidays, but you're seeing the sales come in. And if you're a VA or you've never done a landing page, I wouldn't want you to get scared by seeing how much content Vera's had. So I also want to share this one right here, which is the basic framework. The basic framework is just an image, the form, which is going to take the email, phone number, and then just the benefits. That's it. At the very minimum, this is the framework you want for a landing page. Vera's landing page would probably be level 10. This is probably like a level 5. So just want to share comparison so nobody gets overwhelmed. Okay, so again, this is just sharing the template that I shared with you guys. Now, before we go on to the next part about the automation. So we took care of the front end. The landing page is, think of it as your storefront. This is where people are going to see. This is what people are going to know you for, or these are the items that you can share with people. Before we go to automation, does anybody have any questions about the landing pages? Okay. Oh, I heard someone.
Just one question, that template that you have, and I know one thing I love about Progreda, and people don't know, I built a lot of funnels in ClickFunnels before. I copied some of my old funnels, and before I brought on Felice and you guys in the back end, I spent a lot of times in the funnels. Can the templates, like that template you have, can that be shared, or do you guys create that from scratch, or like what's the best way? Like if I go in there and it's totally because this one thing people are asking me, hey, I want to build a funnel, can I use your template? Right, it's the biggest thing. So what's the best way to handle that question when they're coming on?
Yeah, so if somebody's coming on, they should see it on their templates library. So if they go to the left side sites, they can actually then customize it to, they can put their own image, they can change the text and things like that. I would highly advise people start with that. There is an option to start from scratch, but that just takes a little bit more creativity, because when you start from scratch, it's like looking at a blank piece of paper. So do check that you have that template on your account. And if not, do get in touch with us. So I'm going to put that screen back on, and I appreciate Jeff asking. Yes, that template was created so that nobody has to start from scratch thinking about where does an image go, where does the text go, where does the button go. That template, I would say, is about 80% done. The last 20% might take someone about an hour, maybe 2, if you have all the elements. So I'm going to make sure I share that screen again, and it's called the event registration page. This one right here. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, this will help. By the way, this is great that you're doing trainings like this. So event registration page. I'm just trying to see where it'd be. So that's what it is. And I'll look later on, because I'm so go that sometimes I don't look at stuff where there's actually stuff later on. So
Yeah, definitely. So just make sure you go onto sites. So you want to go on the left side and make sure you can see that template. A lot of people also have a folder that says, thank you for signing up for Progreda. And then in that folder, the templates are there. But if you don't have the templates, don't worry, let us know and we'll be sure to, guide you through that. Like I said, this template's about 80% of the way there. The last 20% would just be adding images, some text, and making it custom for your idea. And yeah, like Andy mentioned, you could definitely reach out to the support@progreda.com. That way you don't miss out on that template.
yeah, perfect. I just looked and it's funny, underneath the first folder is templates, and I have one for yoga students there. So it shows that I've been in Progreda this long and I didn't see that as long. Okay, cool. And also, let's say I created a funnel that's winning, right? In here, can I share it? Let's say Jeff, the other Jeff, right? I used to hate my name until I find other legends in the space. I want to share him my template, right? We start mastermind on here. Could that be something I do?
Share the templates across accounts. Is that the question?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm just curious on that point.
That's a good question. Probably best for Felice. So can the user share a template to another user?
Yeah, so like when we get these webinars, you get to like communicate with other people, other guests. And so for example, like we had a few clients before, they're both in the financial industry, and they got together. So they one helped one another. And to answer your question, yes, we can share the templates across locations, as long as we have the permission from the owner, then we can do that. Well, you're gonna have to come to support to have that done, but yes, you can do that.
Awesome, thank you.
And we have another good question, Felice. Someone says, what is a funnel? So if you had to say that in one sentence, what's a funnel? Because I know this was new to me too.
Okay, in one sentence, Fernando, I will try. So you know how a funnel looks like, right? It's something like that. So you have all your leads at the top. At the most bottom are the most qualified, the people that we can actually sell to, or the people we have already sold to. So at the top is where we get the leads, potential clients, and then as we narrow down, there you go. As we narrow down, we try to nurture them. We try to give them value through text messages, through emails, and our end goal is to have all those hot leads actually purchase from us, and we do that through a funnel, through pages, landing pages, nurture sequence, and so on. Did I answer your question?
It did, actually. I'm sorry, I just didn't know what it was.
No, that's cool. I haven't heard that question in a while, so it's good that you asked it anyway. So landing page is a funnel. Yeah, funnel is just a word, but that was very well said. You could build that all what she said right on a landing page. So
yeah, no, it's an amazing question because yes, I didn't realize that there was lingo when it came to the technical aspects of just Progreda and marketing, digital marketing in general. So yes, they're used interchangeably. So landing page and funnel is just the process someone goes through for each business. So someone might need to go through 10 steps before they buy, versus you have another business owner who they only need 3 steps, for that person. So that's an amazing question, Fernando. Perfect. So now that we kind of touched on the basics of the landing pages and those things that you need to gather together or need to get started on, I do want to switch gears and go into the automations. We're hoping that this section inspires you guys to get started on setting up those automations so that your business can run without you doing every single step, okay? So now we're switching gears, going into the automations, the back end of it. So here are top 3 or top 2 automations that you want to have set up. If you do not have these set up, I highly suggest you take the next 7 to 10 days to get them set up because they're going to save you so much time. The first one is a DM or a text in trigger. So that means that you should have your Progreda phone number already set up, and you're going to be asking and promoting people to text you or DM you on your social media platforms, and then automations will be set up on the back end. So people can actually interact with the bot on Progreda. The second one is email sequences for leads or customers. So email sequences for leads would just be giving your customer value to the hope that they purchase eventually. Email sequences for customers would be guiding them through the journey of being a customer and keeping them on your program, keeping them retained, or even having them buy something else, which is the retention and the upsells. And the third one would be pipeline automations. All three of these items are definitely possible in Progreda, and we're going to be breaking each one of these down. So let's make sure that this is set up. So we're going to go through a step-by-step instructions that Felice is going to go through. But this would be under Progreda workflows. So this screenshot is an actual screenshot of a Progreda account. So this is where you would be on automations tab. This presentation is specifically for the left side of Progreda. There's this automation tab, and then you go into workflows. Okay. And Felice, do you want to go into the next items?
Okay, so for this one, I would be sharing my screen and we're gonna do this real time with me. So, okay, let's go.
So,
okay, so
there
we're
we go.
here. We're here in the demo account, right? So the way to go to the workflows is here on the left side. You go to automation, and then you go to workflows, and then we're gonna create this from scratch. Although you might have already templates, but it's good that we go through this together from scratch so you know how to. Okay, so we click on create a workflow. We start from scratch and we create the new workflow. Okay, so we're just gonna name this webinar today test. Okay, so up here is where this is what tells us what triggers this workflow. So this has to happen first before any of these steps under happen. So what I mean by that, so we're doing DM by trigger, DM to trigger, right? So we're gonna go add the new workflow trigger and we're gonna do customer replied, meaning we received a certain phrase or a certain message from a customer. A filter we have to put, because we don't wanna just get any phrase or any text message or any email and send them to this workflow. So it has to be specific. So the filter that we're gonna do is contains phrase. And for this test, we're gonna do webinar. And we also want to add the filter. Well, this depends on you if you want it to be from your text message, from the email, from social media. So for now, we're gonna do text message. So you do a reply channel. And so we're gonna do SMS. These are the choices where you could receive this message. Okay, so we do save the trigger. So again, the way to trigger the actions that we would be setting up here is when somebody texts or replies the word webinar to your Progreda number. Okay. Now, what I want to happen is when somebody texts that to me, I want to send them a text message and tell them, hey, hope you're learning a lot today. And in real life scenarios, like we could use this, for example, for Manuel, like when somebody texts the word mattress to his number, he could say like, hi, how can I help you? What size are you looking for? Or for example, for Fernando, if somebody texts photography, you could automatically say that, hey, this is my landing page. You could check out my quote or my prices here and so on. So that's how we do it. And just make sure that you publish the workflow and of course save your work. And we're gonna do a test right now. The number that I have here, okay, the number that I have here is the Progreda number, and you should have a Progreda number. Just quickly where to get that is when you're logged into your account, you go to settings. Okay, you go to settings and you go to phone numbers. So this is not your actual phone number on your phone, right? This is your Progreda phone number. And this is the number right here.
So if anybody wanna text webinar to this number, we could test it out. So it's 702-766-6076. I don't know if you got that, but I'm just gonna do it on my end as well. So here, if any,
Yes.
try it, but here I'm just gonna go text. This is another thing. You know, with Progreda, you can text other people using your Progreda number, right? So I'm gonna text using my account here, Progreda HQ. Okay, so our word was webinar, right? So when I send that message, okay, so I sent the message, I said webinar, and it replied right away telling me that, hey, hope you're learning a lot today without me doing anything. And one thing also, we could like customize this so that it feels like more human. You know, we could add wait times in between, so it looks like you're not talking to a robot. Yeah, so we could really customize this like so much with depending on what you want to say, and if they reply a certain phrase or a certain, like if it's positive, negative, we could customize that more. But this is how you get it started. Yeah.
We have a good question on the chat, Felice. Is the function case sensitive? Meaning if someone puts webinar in all caps, would it still work?
Okay, so here in the filters, we have here contains phrase. So we do webinar, but we could have here like exact match phrase, and it has to be exactly how you type it. So we suggest that you do contains phrase, because sometimes, you know, they forget or they don't hear that part, or they did hear that part, but they're not gonna do all caps, or maybe just do contains phrase. But yes, it is case sensitive, and but also it cannot be case sensitive.
Yeah. So to clarify, it just depends on how you set it up. If you put it as contains the phrase, it doesn't matter if webinar is in all caps or lowercase. But if you want it to be exact, it will be case sensitive. I would prefer that you guys would set it up as contains the phrase, just because you would get more, probably higher functionality of it, especially because people will, if you verbalize the word, how they know if it's caps or lowercase. I'll give you a real life example. I have a vintage shop, and I did a pop-up recently. My trigger word was vintage, and it said text the word vintage to get submitted to a raffle for a gift card. I left the location and people were actually just texting the word vintage. I didn't put it case sensitive or not, because people can translate it as capital V or no capital V. So as long as you set it as contains phrase, you'll be good.
Okay, I also just want to show this real quick. So while we were doing the test, I'm happy that a few of you did try to text. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people text the word webinar to my number, or the number that the demo number that we sent. And I replied, hey, hope you're learning a lot today. So imagine if that was you, you could have answered so many inquiries in 1 second, and Progreda does that all for you.
Yes, very true. And also, if you have different keywords, right? One scenario is you're speaking on stage or you're speaking on an online platform, and your call to action is keyword is book. That could have its own workflow. But let's say you are at an event and you want that to be its own word, you can also set up a workflow for that. So that's the beauty. You can have unlimited workflows. Felice just set one up for the word webinar, but she could have done this for many other scenarios. Awesome. Any questions before we go on to the next automation? That's a great question, Jeff Shada. So appreciate you asking that. There are no silly questions. That's why we're here.
Yeah, just to reiterate, I went off and built myself sometimes, and I did exact match phrase, and that's why. So contains phrase, contains phrase, contains phrase. So I'm going quick, and I'm just saying that so I remember it. There's no reason why not to do it that way. So thank you.
Yes, exact match. Yes, that means you would miss out on some opportunities just because they have a capital letter. They might have added some exclamation or something that would keep them from being able to come in. So keyword is contains the phrase. And another item I want to make sure we don't gloss over is Felice mentioned, it can sound as unique as you want it to sound. So if you want it to sound like yourself, how, you know, questions with emojis, she put a little happy face on there. I would highly recommend doing that. You don't want people to know, hey, text me at my automated number and the robot is going to text you back. That's not what you want people to know. You want people to feel that they're having conversation with you. I actually, going back to that pop-up shop, the funny thing is that I had someone texting the word vintage while I was there, and she got the text right away, but I was having a conversation with her. So she said, how are you texting me? And I was like, oh, it's my team. So it does help if you put a little bit of a delay, just if you wanted to look a little bit more human-like. It was my first time, so now I know. But yes, you can make it sound more like you. You can have a 15-minute wait. You can have a 5-minute pause, and definitely customize it to your tonality and your speaking tone. Fernando said, if we don't have automations, do we still get the text messages? Yes. So the outbound text, inbound text, outbound call, inbound calling is still available even if the automations are not up and running. The other way that people use their Progreda number is as soon as they get their leads uploaded, they're trying to wake up cold leads, so leads that you haven't been in contact with for over 30, 60, or 90 days, you can just send them a text or some type of invite to something. So you don't have to have the automations. This is just an opportunity to use them for when you're out meeting people, or even trying to get people from your social media, which actually takes me to the next point, which is, okay, so you have the automation set up, but how does it work on the outside world? So here is where we're featuring Nicolina as an example. So if you have the automation set up, either for people to text in or for people to DM you, then you want to go promote it to the world, right? Because if you have the automation set up, but it's not getting promoted, nobody's going to text you. So that's the second part to the system, is what activity will you be doing to get people to text you? So here in this example, Nicolina uses it on social media with the call to action. I abbreviate it as the CTA. Now, here's where you can either make videos, you can make graphics, or you can be a speaker at other events, in person or online. So in this example, she has an amazing photo. She's sharing context about the services and the items that she offers. And in the caption, she's very clear, DM me the word makeup and let me help you turn your passion for makeup into a business. Now, why is that an efficient post? She's showing context of what she does. She has a clear caption sharing the benefits someone will get. And the third item is when people text the word makeup or DM it on her Instagram, this is an Instagram screenshot, she's not going to be the one replying to each person. Because Nicolina has thousands of followers on her Instagram. Imagine if this post was created on Wednesday at 12 noon and 100 or 500 people DM her. How many hours or days would it take her to go through 500 DM messages, right? On the back end of her Progreda, she has automations where there'll be a conversation happening, and eventually it's an offer to buy her course. So that's where the next part of it is. One, set up the automation, but two, get those graphics, get those videos out there to promote it to the world. You can also do this if you have a storefront. You can actually put some type of banner up that says, text the word here for 20% off. Or make a Facebook post. Hey, for the first 10 people that text in this word, I'll throw in this for free. So it all comes down to what is the call to action that you're going to use to get the message and the people to text you in. We also have some people that have made banners. So if you've ever been to a trade show and there's hundreds of booths or even 50 booths out there, people might not be able to reach every single booth. So what people do is they'll create a banner that says, and text in the word this to get this for free, or follow or text in this to get this free item 2-day only, right? So even though if you're at a trade show, you might not be able to speak to every single person that's there, but they'll connect with you if you make it known. So this is the marketing part, right? Get those flyers out there, get the videos out there, get the graphics out there, put that word everywhere and that phone number. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the email sequences. So step one, you already have an amazing landing page or an amazing DM or text and call to action. Step two, you went out and you marketed to the world, whether it's videos, speaking, or graphics. Step three would be making sure your email sequences are set up. Because if someone texts you or connects with you, but nothing else happens, they're gonna turn cold. I used to work in a call center, and they used to say, if you don't pick up on the first ring, they're a cold lead. That's how fast they wanted us to reach out. I also used to be a director of a gym, and then we would get an instant notification on our page if someone opted into a Facebook ad, and they said you have 5 seconds to contact them. After that, it's cold. That's how fast someone will go from interested to not interested. So that's where the email sequences come in and the communication. So at the very minimum, you should have 4 emails. The welcome email, sharing what you do and why you're excited that they joined. The acknowledge email, acknowledge that they took the step and acknowledge what they're gonna get by joining your circle. Number 3, some type of content, whether it's a video of you speaking, some type of value. Then number 5 or 4 or 5 is an offer. And the reason number 4 actually says an invite is you can invite them to get to learn more, invite them to a call, invite them to a mastermind, invite them to a group call. And then number 5 would be the offer. At the very minimum, these 5 emails should be set up so your leads don't go cold. And these emails will make the offers for you because you can only do so many one-on-one calls and so many sales calls. And I actually want to share with you guys 2 examples of what an email sequence looks like in real life. And again, this is part of your automations on Progreda. So on the left side, you see the automations tab, and then you see the workflows. The 2 examples I'm going to share today are for different scenarios. The first one is for the Progreda webinar, which is what you're on today. So what I did is I created a Google Doc, what I want people to know about the webinar. I created the image, and then I had it launched. And it only had 7 days to get launched. So in those 7 days, you guys should have gotten 3 emails and a few text messages. And if you remember, 1 hour before the event, you should have gotten a text or an email that says, hey, the event is starting in 1 hour. I definitely couldn't do that because an hour ago I was driving from being out in the field. And I'm sharing that for transparency because that's how you want your business to run. If you have any type of event, if you have any type of speaking, or if you have any type of calls, you just want to show up to the call. You don't want to be the one sending emails and text messages an hour before the event. And this is things I learned from Andy. So here is the first one, showing you behind the scenes of what it looks like to set up a 7-day workflow of emails and text for this webinar. So the first thing that happened was the email. Yes, the text had to be written ahead of time. That includes the subject line and the message or the body, okay? So first you need to identify how many emails, what are the subject lines and what goes in each email, and if you want graphics or no graphics. So here is the invitation. Join the webinar next week where you can learn XYZ and then the link because I'm inviting people to join. There was also a text message that went out with the RSVP link. And again, I'm the type of person that's like shorter is better. So that's why my emails and texts are very short and sweet because I would assume everybody's a busy business owner. So I'm going to give you the facts in 5 seconds. The The second thing that happened is the second email went out as a reminder, and it says, don't forget to register, RSVP here, and here's the image. Then this is the actual event start time, and it's saying 1 hour before the event, we're gonna send one more item, an email and a text. Let me go back to the text. We're starting in 1 hour. So again, for transparency purposes, this was all set up last week, Wednesday. And through the power of the automations and the reminders, we were able to get an amazing turnout of 18 people here. And that's where you want to maximize it. So if you have an event coming up or anything like that, you want to make sure you set it up properly. The second example I'm going to share is one of our very own, Riva, who also spoke earlier. Her email sequence was because she had an influx of customers and she got overwhelmed with the amount of people on her calendar, and she had limited time to make an offer. So she has a 21-day fitness program. And when we connected, she basically let me know, hey, if I have 100 people on my 21-day program, I can only meet with about 10 of them to offer them the next program, which is much longer than 21 days. So that's when I said, well, why don't we do a sequence? How about 7 days into the program and then 14 days into the program, you create a touch point that invites them to sign up, because she can only do so many presentations, right? And that's where we came up with the 21-day program midway sell offer. So I'm going to share that back end. Just takes a little bit here to load. So in the 21-day program, first thing is she needs to know who is on the program. That's where the tag comes in. Then she'll get a text message saying there's a new sign up for the program. So Riva could be out on vacation. She could be out at a family dinner. She could be celebrating a milestone, but she'll just get a text that says, hey, Riva, by the way, someone signed up. And then the next item that happens is the orientation email. So we came up with this email because in the beginning, Riva was doing one-on-one calls with each person, about 40 minutes long on average. And I said, well, why don't you just send them an email that tells them on video how to do the technical? Again, that's my operation brain thinking, how can you do 1,000 of these? So the orientation email, they'll get those steps. And then there's a welcome email. And in the middle, they're going to get a sell. Now, I don't want to touch too much of it, but in the middle of the program, so before the 21-day program expires, they're going to get an offer to buy her course. And that program is longer because the 21-day program is the starting point for her business. So if you have any type of starting point for your business, if there's a low ticket item, if there's only like a 10-day program, or if there's a special type of offer and it's not your core product, you want to set up this type of email sequence where the person gets offers and touch points 5 days in, 7 days in, 10 days in, 21 days in. Because if they finish your program and you never got feedback from them, or you never got to do a call, chances are they're just going to drop off. And you just don't want that. You want to keep them in your family and you want to retain them. And here's where the offer comes in, and there's only 2 outcomes. They either A, purchase the course, or they don't. And even that has its own follow-up process. So this is in the specific industry of fitness, but it can definitely be applied for other industries. So if you have a small program, that's just the starting point. Make sure you set up a 10-day sequence or a 21-day sequence so people don't just drop off and then you never hear from them. Okay. And I see a question here. Oh, I see, Jeff Shada. So you're saying that there's a problem with the video communication, can't get it to have a thumbnail photo to show in the email. Felice, would that be something that's an easy fix, or maybe we can send a video kind of walkthrough? So when you have a video in the email, but the thumbnail's not showing.
Yeah, I dropped the link in and the video is embedded, but I can't get a thumbnail to show up on it. So it's just a white screen and they got to click on it for it to activate. So just quick question. I don't know if anyone else has got that issue. I'm using Vidyard as my video implant, just so you know.
Okay, Jeff, would it be okay? I could quickly show it. Would it be okay to share that template on screen right now? Yeah. Okay. So I have here pulled up Jeff's email template. So this is what he's talking about. So the video is here, it's working, but there's no picture. So it looks like if somebody would receive it, they might think that it's a broken link or something. So what I usually want to do is I copy the video URL, I open it in a new tab, and then I just take a screenshot of probably like a nice shot over here, something like that.
And make them look good.
Yeah, someone is smiling, you know, and then I go to Progreda. I have so many tabs open.
Sign of a genius.
Okay, hold on. Give me.
Yeah, I understand how Felice. I have like 20 tabs open, but yeah, that's a good question, Jeff, and we appreciate you letting us share your example, because this is something that definitely makes a difference for first impressions.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Lori, I think future masterminds for Progreda Mastermind, I love what you guys put together. I have to jump off here in 5 minutes. I think doing more of this where people have troubleshooting and we answer one thing what it is, we're going forward, will really like have us target on something, because there's a lot we all need to do it. Progreda has a lot. And I'm just really excited to see this in the future, Progreda, and I love Felice and everything you put together. I think it's amazing.
Yes, that's a good idea. We do have 6 more coming up, so we'll definitely try that format. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, so here, so I'm in Jeff Shada's account. So you just go to sites and then go to media. So in media, this is where you just upload all of your pictures. And I just do upload file. I took a screenshot, it's right here. And once that's uploaded, you click on the picture. And here you just get the link at the top. And then on your email template, here under video thumbnail URL, you put in the picture or the link that was from the media manager. And that's that.
Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
leave it in there because I went 1,200. Yeah, 1,200 went out. It's a 3,500 email list. It'll be interesting to see the click-through rate, how it changes with the picture in there. So thank you.
Okay, no, I'll change the picture later. I'll try to look for like a nicer angle. I mean,
No, he looked great right there. And it's something with thumbnails on YouTube. You
Yeah,
need like
anything's better than a white screen like it was. So thank you.
100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was an awesome background, the one that you had on your video. I've been meaning to do that, a whole wall of a map. Awesome, that's a great question. And any other questions before we go to the third one, which is gonna switch gears from email sequences, then we're gonna switch gears into the pipelines, and then we'll wrap up with Q&A. Good questions here. Okay, awesome. So the next one we'll go into is the pipeline automations. And this would be the third element. So how does it all connect? People find you through the landing pages or the DM or the text and call to actions that you're doing. You need to have those email sequences set up on the back end so people don't turn cold. And then the third item is you want to make sure you see them on your pipeline. And that way you don't lose track of how many leads or customers you have. Okay, so this is the 360-degree approach of getting the sales, getting the leads, and taking care of them. So for this third item, I'll have Felice go into this presentation.
Okay, I'll just share my screen, Lori, okay?
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay, so just an overview. This is what a pipeline looks like. So it's basically your sales process from having a lead up until we get the sale. So depending on your industry, for example, here in Elite Vintage Goods, so it's an online store. So we have a new order. This is the process goes like we have a new order, we ship the order, we send confirmation, and we receive the payment, etc. But let's actually this probably might be more applicable to most of us. We have here an online sales pipeline. So like what Lori mentioned a while ago, the lead comes from your landing page and then it goes through the whole sales process. So coming from the landing page first, you want to make sure that you know the exact name of the form that you're working on. So for example, this is the landing page that we have. Okay, so this is a template. So this is the landing page. We have a form here. So what we want to happen is that when somebody opts in this form, number one, we see them in the pipeline, and number two, we send some sort of email that we have gotten their information or whatever you want to say on your first touch when somebody opts in your form. So first thing, we have to, like what I said, we want to make sure that we're on the right form. So when you go into the funnels and in your landing page builder, so you click on the form, and here on the left, you see here the name of the form that we are working with is the lead generation opt-in form. And that is what we would be using for our workflow. Now we would be creating the workflow. Again, the same thing like a while ago. So we go to automation. We create a workflow. We start from scratch, create a new workflow. Okay. And then we want to add this is what triggers the actions that will happen here. So first is the form submission, right? So form submitted. And then we want to make it specific because you might have different offers, and we don't want to trigger all forms in all of your pages. So we want to have form is, and the form that we were working on, like what we saw a while ago, is the lead generation opt-in form. So that's number one. So we save this trigger. So let's just label it nicely. So form submitted lead gen form. We save the trigger, and usually what I want to do is that I want to set up all of my my triggers here for the pipeline. So for example, actually never mind. Sorry. Okay. So what we want to do when somebody opts in is the first thing that we want to happen is I want to send a text message and say, hold on, my internet. Okay, I want to say hi. And this is a nice thing to do also to make it more very customizable. So we want to use the custom values and say hi, contact, first name. So this would depend on the information that they put in here. So whatever their first name is, this would appear here. So hi, contact, first name. Let's say welcome to my shop. Welcome to my online shop. Okay, and then we save the action, and we want to identify this new lead as somebody in the new lead section of our pipeline. So we see them. And so the next thing I want to happen is that after I text that word to them, or that text message to them, I want to create or update an opportunity. And the pipeline that we were working on is the online sales pipeline. The opportunity name is, I want it to be the name of the customer. So we do contact, full name, opportunity source. So we could know where, if you have like several landing pages set up or other channels for your, like for where you get your leads. I want to put in here lead gen funnel. Lead value, this would depend if you have like several offers or several products, then this would depend. But for example, all of my products would cost $1,000, then I just put $1,000. And then open. So because this is an open lead, it hasn't really closed yet. I mean, we haven't set a sale yet, so it's open. And then we just go save action. And then we save and publish. Okay, so now let's try that out. Here, so as you can see here in the pipeline, it's empty. We're gonna do an opt-in right now. So I'm do Felice Perez, my email. Okay, I don't have. Okay. Let's just do send an email as well because I don't have my American or my US number right now. So hi, welcome to the program. Okay, save action, save. So you can send emails, send text messages, whatever really you want to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go click on the button. Okay. So now here you could see that it automatically populated, and from here you would see where your leads are at in your pipeline. And also I already received the email from Elite Vintage Goods. It says, "Hi, welcome to the program." So that's how all the automations work. As long as you set the trigger correctly and you have the sequence correctly, it should work. Lori?
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. So yes, what Felice is basically showing you guys is how it works on the back end. I missed the last part, Felice. Does it show also on their pipeline so that they can see on the columns?
Yeah, so since one of the steps here is to create or update an opportunity on the sales pipeline in a specific stage, then it's already here. So if you would open this contact, you would see my name, okay, my name, my email address, phone number, the lead value that we set a while ago, and it says here the opportunity source is the lead gen funnel. So for example, you could put in here, depending on your workflow, if it came from DM, if it came from your Facebook lead, another funnel named, for example, lead gen 2 funnel. So you could segregate, and that could also help you know which is like your winning funnel, which is the most converting. So it's good to have this opportunity source as well.
Yes. And the good thing too about pipeline, you can assign it to people. So if you have a team and you have a closer on the team, or you have a follow-up representative, they can get that contact assigned as well automatically. So you can actually choose. For example, if I happen to have an assistant called Ashley that was a closer, that contact can be assigned to Ashley. So when she logs into Progreda, she knows who she needs to follow up with or connect with. If you're the only one in your business, that's okay too. You can assign them to yourself, and then you just have to make sure you're doing the follow-up and you're moving your customer along, or the lead along.
A quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a lot of leads all from over, I'm very much myself. You tell people you're gonna run for president, they want your phone number, right? So with that said, what's the best way to get them? What's basically they get them in? Because what I do is I dump them all to Ken, my executive assistant, and then I have him put them in, or I put them in, we go over them in the day. These are the prospecting leads. Obviously, doing it through funnel, we're going to start with everything we're doing as well on that point. What's the best way to put in a lead, an opportunity? I usually put them in and I'll sign them with him or sign them with me. So I just started building out the pipeline. But is it opportunity, new pop thing, put it in that way?
Yeah, so you can actually assign them to what stage they're in. Are you adding them manually by any chance? Like, is Ken putting in their name?
I literally will leave out here. I just got a venture capitalist that lives in this building. She wants to get on a call. She wants to build a personal brand, whatever, right? So she gave me her phone number, right? I think she thought it was cute too. But anyway, besides all that, I want to sell her. I'm not trying to get a date, right? So I want to put her in the pipeline. What's the best way to, when I get a prospected lead organically, right?
Yeah.
What's the best way to get it into that system?
Yeah. Felice, are you able to show an example of if you just have a contact sitting there and you need to add them to your pipeline? Because there is a manual way to either assign them to someone or add them to a pipeline that you already have. So you don't want them to just sit there in your contacts tab. I'm just trying to think if we have an easy example to show, Felice.
Okay, so here in Progreda, so first thing you want to do, since this is an organic contact, you don't really have them in Progreda yet, right? So even before you start adding them into your workflow or your pipeline, sorry. Oh yeah, first thing you have to do is go to contacts and then add the contact, and I'm gonna add my teammate here and go do this details, and then you click on save, right? And then once it's already in there, this would appear. And now what you can do is when you scroll down on this left sidebar here, you have here the opportunities section, and then you just click on add, and I'm gonna put in his name. Pipeline, you go do online sales pipeline, whatever you want to choose. For me, he's a new lead. He's worth $1,000 as well. And this is organic. And then we go put add. And in the pipeline, he should be already there. So new lead, organic, Ronald Alcober. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's how I was doing it. That's what I was asking. I think going forward, it might be better just because it syncs it in to actually give them a landing page that syncs up, right? And assigns it.
Yeah, or have them text you, because if they text you, then it'll automatically populate.
So that's what I've not been doing. I've the Progreda number, which is a great number. Anybody text 727-955-2777. Great Progreda number. So just give them that number and have them text that number, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't have to always go to the funnel. So in that scenario, right, if you're trying to make an organic connection, just say, hey, text me at this number, just text me your first name and last name. And then at least it'll funnel them through. And then on the back end, you can set it up. So anybody that texts you their information, they can be added to the pipeline.
That's what I need to do, because that's what I'm not doing. That'll save me a lot of time. And I also got to reroute it. I rerouted the number to my assistant. So people are like, oh, I'll just call you, and it doesn't ring. And they know I'm giving them another number, so they feel less special. So I got to reroute it back to one of my phones. So
yeah, get them going to Progreda directly would save you that admin work of adding each person, how Felice just did.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where you use that keyword. Just say, hey, just text help to this number. And then so if that's an organic lead that you just talked to, and then the next time if you're doing a seminar like I'm going to do one of Andy's, and they're going to text success. And so I've got people back in the booth that all that stuff's going to dump into the success category, and then you got it. So your deal might be, hey, just text help if you're face to face with someone. And if you're taking a phone call, say, hey, do it to donut or whatever,
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I do it with Instagram, DM board to Instagram, right? I've done that, but I just haven't gone through the phone thing. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah. And that way, a great point there, as you don't have to manually add them, and it can be keyword help or keyword appointment or question, just something that doesn't necessarily, it's not a hard sell, it's just getting them into your community. Good question, Jeff. We definitely want to save some time on those manual entries, get them to text you, and then their information is saved. And then on the back end, it should be assigned to Ken. That way he logs in and see all these new people that you met out at events and speaking and opportunities. So as far as
that would be huge. That would save so much time. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want anybody on Google Sheets. We don't want anybody sending a list on a notebook. Like, they should be on Progreda. If you speak on a Friday, they should be on your Progreda at that instant moment. So especially with Andy speaking everywhere, everything goes through Progreda, because if he has 3 speaking events in a week, we would have a backlog of tasks if it wasn't instant. So that's a good example, Jeff. So that concludes as far as the presentation items. We will be sharing the recording, because I do realize there's a lot of technical elements and a lot of knowledge in the last hour. But now this takes us into the next 15 minutes, which is going to be questions and answers. And it doesn't have to be just technical questions. It could also just be general questions, like even how Jeff asked right now, hey, I'm doing this step right now. Is there a better way to do it? That's my expertise. I'm always trying to make things efficient for business owners. Thank you, Fernando, for joining us. Appreciate that. So does anybody have any questions or any type of feedback they like? Anything that you're doing in your business that you're like, man, I'm spending like 30 hours on this, or I wake up and I sit on Progreda for 5 hours. How can I make it easier?
Yeah, 2 things. Well, anyway, if someone else could go, I don't want to hog up the time.
I don't see anybody, so you can go, Jeff.
So yeah, one of them was the manual thing. So I'm reassigning the number. I could actually share my screen and redo that now, assign it to this phone. So that way it is, because I assigned it to the other phone, and I turned on recording, which what's the thing? But the other thing I do is the Calendly. So I use Calendly a lot. I just want to make sure, because what happens is Ken books a call. Hey, it's X amount of dollars to get on the phone call with Jeff, right? He's been a great buffer. He books it. But then it doesn't link up, and I realized, I think I fixed it all. I made them all two-way with my Google Calendar, so it shows up on both sides, but then everybody wasn't getting a link. Some would get a link, some wouldn't get it to their email. We tested it today. But it's a huge thing because people are paying, and if they don't get a link, it's a huge breakup thing. I used to use Calendly all the time. I'm trying not to use as much because I want to run everything through Progreda.
Yeah, so is the question, how can you get the calendar connected on Progreda?
So yeah, let me show, I already have it connected. Now here, let me just show you really quick what I did. I think I fixed it. So in here, I'm in Progreda. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so if we go into calendars here, all right,
Okay.
and then this is the calendar we have here, and then we go into calendar settings right over here. Okay, so these are all the ones we do normally. We'll even sell a 15-minute call for $250. If we go into here, I think I fixed them all. So I didn't put a description in. So I have my Zoom link here, right? Which is my personal Zoom link, which is fine. I have two-way. So this is why they weren't all two-way. So sometimes it would be something different. So Ken, I don't know, Ken, if you're still on here, you want to do it. Then we opened up the times more, but he only has access to this. We don't send it out. Buffer before. So this is all good in here. So let me just go to the next thing. So I think there's two questions about this calendar thing. So it says use Stripe payment. Can you use the Stripe payment on here or no?
Felice, that's a good technical question. Are you able to answer that?
Because I don't think this was on before. I think this is an update that this wasn't on here before.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just check. Honestly, it is like an update we did, but we haven't really gotten anyone interested to actually use that feature. But I would check that out for you, Jeff.
All right, yeah. Am I muted or can you hear me? No, you can hear me. All right. All right, cool. So this is it, custom thank you message. So we have all this in here. So I think I have it all set up. So I went through all these and I put the location in for it here, consulting call here. I actually even went in, whoops, let me go back here. Because I'm gonna build, and I know you guys are working with me in the back end. I just want to make sure they're good, because when we go into the calendar, let me just show you right here. And let's go back to my calendars. Is Ken still on the call? Ken, you're the one who does all my bookings. So like right now we got David Kirkpatrick, right? And if you look at it here, he's a paid client tomorrow. And so he got the Zoom link here, 2:15, or this was today. He actually missed the call today. So that one was good. But then here, let me see, Monaco. See this one. And it changes the color by how we have it in there with the color coded in each calendar. I don't know why it's taking a while.
Categories or different types of appointments.
Right. Yeah. And I'm going to do them before. One of my buddies was like, yellow is working on your business. Green is sales calls that brings in money. Red's time with people you love. And blue is personal development. And I love that. So we'll kind of do that. But this here, so he did this in here. I guess these actually all got corrected now. That's always how it is when you go in. But they weren't showing up before on my Google Calendar. But I think the two-way thing fixes it, and I have everything in there, correct?
Yeah, probably the two-way fix it, because that's the way it works. You see it two ways, as long as that's
That's what I was gonna say. So for anybody that hasn't done their calendar, just make sure that little box that says two-way is set up, because that will allow it to show on your calendar and their calendar. So that's a good point, Jeff. If that wasn't clicked before, it would not have shown correctly. But the goal is to replace Calendly. So that is a good point you bring up. The ability to be able to book directly, they get the Zoom link, and it should show on their end and your end.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll probably do we can probably kind of look into your account, because I saw you had like 5 calendars. But I'll take a quick glance under the hood tomorrow, and then just to make sure that they're all under two-way.
Okay, yeah, I think I did that, so I think we're good. I just want to make sure I fix it. A lot of things, if I dig, I can fix it, like totally literally. I just was using all the other MailChimp, Calendly, ClickFunnels before. So now it's actually a lot easier to use this once I dive into it. So
Yeah, and it's just one software, which is the amazing part. Awesome, awesome. So we do have about 11 minutes or so. Does anybody have any other questions, either direct in regards to your account, direct to the presentation, or just even business in general? Awesome. So I don't see any questions, but before we wrap up, I do want to just go around and everybody just share one action item that you will do after today's presentation, either in your business or in Progreda. So just making sure that everybody leaves with at least one action item. Let's set the intention. What are you going to do after this presentation, whether for the business or on Progreda? So we'll start with, let's go with Riva, one action item intention for your business.
So I was already kind of planning something while we were on a call. So I am definitely going to an event where I'm just thinking about doing some flyers with my best kind of before and after photo on there, and doing like a direct message campaign, because I have a big community event where it's gonna be at least like 1,000 of people there. And I kind of was kind of setting that up and playing with some stuff as Felice was, kind of showing us on the back end. So it's done.
That's awesome. 1,000 opportunities right there. That's amazing. And then Manuel, what will you do? One action item after today's presentation. Oh, if you could just unmute yourself real quick.
Sorry about that. I just want to thank you guys for the really good presentation. I really learned a lot. And obviously, there's always room for improvement. But what I really like is what Nicola did, the direct message campaign. I think we're going to start focusing a little bit more on that, because we're not really doing any promotions. And like I said, creating a community that we want to do. So I think we're going to go ahead and focus on that and see what results we get.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good point, because we got direct message is definitely available to be automated, and flyers like Riva mentioned. So that's good. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Jeff Shada? One action item after today's presentation.
Hey Lori, could I just share Ivan's use case real quick on the DM campaign?
Oh yeah, go for it. That's a great example.
So this is Ivan. Do you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
This is Ivan Ivanov. He's the CEO and founder of Wealth Tree Financial Services. So his industry is life insurance. And so this is his Instagram. And the cool thing on his Instagram, by the way, if you go to his Instagram, every post has the direct message me the word, so on and so forth. So he's using it. But on the top of it is a call to action. And the call to action is designed to get people to direct message him that word wealth. So naturally what you'll do is click message, and then you'll direct message him the word wealth. So here's me doing it, for example. And Progreda automates the lead generation by asking for the email. So his response through Progreda was, hey, Andy, I'm glad to hear you're interested in building wealth. I'll send you some information. What's your best email? Then I respond, in this scenario, I respond to jasondoe@gmail.com. Progreda captures that information and puts it right inside of the contact record automatically. It recognizes it as an email. And then Progreda automates the lead generation again by asking for the phone number. So in this scenario, Progreda says, okay, to stay connected offline, what is your phone number? I respond with the phone number. Progreda instantly put that into the contact record, generating a lead for him. And then Progreda then says, hey, look, I have your contact details. Check your email. After you read your email, you'll be able to schedule a one-on-one call with me. So because the lead's email was captured through that campaign, Progreda sends an automatic email to schedule a call. So this is a scenario of his email. And at the bottom of it is click here to claim your free strategic call. So this is Ivan's sales calendar after turning on Progreda in his business. So now in his business, he does between $300 to $2,000 in commission for his products. He generated $315,997 in new business in his pipeline within his first 3 months of implementing this inside of Progreda. So if you're one of those individuals, I think who was it that said it? Manny. If you're interested in doing the DMs, that DM campaign, whether it's from text, email, not from email, text, Google Business, where else, Felice and Ron? Google Business, Facebook Messenger, Instagram and Facebook. If you set all of those platforms up for your DM, he only signed up a few months ago. Okay, and that's it for me, Lori. I mean, I got a whole bunch of different scenarios here, but these are the new PowerPoints that I'm working on that I'm gonna be sharing with you on how to create workflows, how to automate your workflows, automate your sales. These are some Stripe transactions. So I got some exciting stuff. Be sure that if you have the mobile app, if you don't have it, download it. It's a lead connector on both platforms, Android and Apple. Lead connector. Real quick.
What's the name of the app? Lead connector?
Lead connector, because it's going to connect you to your leads.
Yeah, I just sent it to the chat.
All your conversations in one place: Instagram, Facebook, text, Google Chat. All your conversations in one place. You can inside of the platform, you'll be able to send out photos, record videos, send it to your leads to help you close that deal. Also, it allows you to get paid fast, so you can send invoices to your lead via text and email right from the mobile app. So when you click that button, request payment, this is going to pop up, and from here, you enter the items that you want to sell and the price you want to sell it at. So in this scenario, I'm selling a consulting session at $499. Progreda will send a link to your client to make the payment right to their phone, as well as via email. And then your client clicks that link, and then your client can make payment right from their phone. In this scenario, we could hit the drop-down menu. We could view the items. In this scenario, we're selling a consulting session at $499. And your invoices and your payments from your mobile app will sync online. Okay, and there's a lot more other stuff that you can do inside of the app that you'll see at my next webinars that anyone here goes to. Thank you, Laura, for your time.
Yeah, so it could definitely do a lot, as you guys can see, and that's why we're kind of breaking it over 6 sessions as far as this mastermind. But definitely what Andy is sharing is getting you to the sell, right? Because if you want to do automations, you want to do the sequences, our hopes is that it's helping you reach more people and get more sales, get more customers. So I did add to the chat, the steps that you just mentioned is someone DMs, they get emails, they're invited for an appointment, and it turns into a sell. Okay, so thank you, Andy, for sharing. So I'll go back with Jeff Shadow. What's one action item going into this next week after this presentation that you're going to do?
Well, this was great. I'm going to have another sleepless night of all the new ideas that I got to implement. But the primary takeaway was setting my keyword for the text to containing phrase, because that's great. I've been worried about that. And then also along that same line is I'm going to put the keyword with the text up on the banner that I'm having created. So I just stop that process of happening for each event, because sometimes people can't get to you, especially when you're really busy, and then we'll capture their information instead of them walking away disgruntled. So very cool. Thank you.
That's awesome. Amazing steps. Lucy, one action item. I know there's a lot, but one item.
Honestly, I'm gonna rewatch the video and then from there
okay.
create my visual plan before implementing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a good point. So if you're a visual person, it does help if you start with the plan on paper and then just take that and then go to the technical. That's how I do things because I'm a very visual person. So sometimes I start on a whiteboard or sometimes I start on a notebook and then I take it to Progreda. So that's a good start.
I have a question though. I'm having difficulty setting up my stuff because everyone that comes in has got different things. So I'm concerned that if they text me something, it sort of gets lost because they're not texting me according to the way I think they're going to respond. So do you
if the
just watch your
question,
pipeline and respond manually from there, or?
you can set up, so I like to think of it as like if then scenarios, and the questions that you ask, you want them to lead to like a yes, no type of thing. Or like the example that Andy showed is that the response was, what the question was, what is your email? And then in theory, the person will respond with an email. So you do have control by putting the right question. Like there was a question that I was trying to do a few months ago, I forgot, but then I realized that it was just too general, right? So like if you ask like, what is your goal? You can set it up where it's like any response. That means whatever they throw at you, there will be a response that happens, but you run the risk that that response may not apply. So I'll give you an example of a bad setup. If you put any response and the person is, I don't have any goals, life is not that great, I don't need any help. And then if you were to set up the automation to say, that's amazing, thank you for sharing, it doesn't apply, right? If someone just told you something negative and you're replying with an upbeat, that's amazing, it doesn't apply. So you do want to be cautious. It comes down to the question that you set up. It has to guide the person. Key questions to ask is, what is your email? What's another example, actually, Andy? I can't think of one on the top of my head. But it does come down to the question that you ask to guide the person to give you something.
You're saying a good one or a bad one?
Good one, good one. My example was a bad one, because if you put awesome, thank you for sharing, but the person shared a negative.
Yeah, I mean, look, like some of the campaigns that we develop for our clients can get like very complex because we'll do a bunch of conditions, right? So Jeff Shada actually came in on one of my calls that I had with the team, and like it can get complex with Progreda, and with the automations, you can do some, some amazing stuff. But in this context for this room, I want to keep it as simple, especially if you're going to be the one doing it. You want to keep it open-ended, that pretty much no matter what they say, is as long as they answer the question, the next response is in alignment. I remember, like, for example, I personally built out Nicolina's. That was before I didn't give, when Nicolina signed up with us, she had so many leads coming in from the ads that we had to like very quickly build out a campaign. So I decided not to have the back end do it. I decided to do it myself in front of on the computer. And some of the questions that I would ask, for example, is, are you interested in building a makeup business? And then the person will say yes or no. Regardless of whether they say yes or no, the next question is, okay, well, let's get on a call to discuss, right? So if they say yes, perfect, let's get on a call to discuss. If they say no, perfect, let's get on a call to discuss. So you want to keep it open-ended and not anticipate certain responses, because it can get you can get creative, but also your leads can respond kind of weird, especially when you're driving a lot of traffic into the campaign. Keep it simple.
Yeah, simple is better. That would work with any response, right? As long as they're interacting, I think that's the good part. And then also I would add, Lucy, invite them to get on a call with you if that's part of your model. The text message, you don't want it to go for like 5 days. You want to probably invite them to the next step. So once they interact by text, do you want them to get on a call? Do you want them to join a group call or a one-on-one, or set up an appointment? The text message is just kind of the preliminary steps before they actually connect with you or a team member. It's a good question. And then, yeah, thank you for sharing. And Carla, what's one action step that you're going to do after this presentation?
I wanted to thank the whole team because I really learned a lot. This is my first time, and I'm glad that Nicolina told me to attend this one. And I have an in-depth realization and also learned a lot from this seminar. And basically tomorrow we'll be having a meeting with our new sales assistant. So this will be a great help and a great sharing moment for tomorrow also. And also I'm very interested with the pipelines and the automation, since we're basically yeah, Nicolina is really particular with DMs and automation workflows. So I'll be glad to help her more this one.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that definitely helps people grow the team. That's definitely our intention. It's once the business owner learns Progreda, it would be hard to teach everything, you know? So that's what we're hoping with this mastermind and our webinars.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Carla. And Ken, what's one action item after today's presentation you're going to focus on?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get proficient in automation because, you know, I'm Jeff's assistant and he's all over the place. So this will save a lot of time. This will be great.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing. Definitely helps when you have a lot of moving parts. And then is it Tyron? I don't want to pronounce it wrong, so I'm sorry if I butchered the name.
Okay, I'm trying to come off mute. It's Taran.
Taran, thank you for clarifying.
Taran. No, you're fine. Thank you. So my number one task that I want to complete is loading all of my customers into the CRM and then building out the funnel and creating a landing page for this upcoming AEP campaign that I want to run, and then setting up the text that you guys talked about.
Yeah.
Okay,
text triggers.
Okay, the text trigger campaign. So I have a question about the text trigger campaign. Is that similar to the Tango platform?
I haven't heard of the Tango platform, but if it's related to being able to text people, that is similar. But the thing that makes Progreda different is that usually other platforms don't have the automations that happen, which is the conversations that happen when someone sends it to you. You can also do mass campaigns, meaning if you have 1,000 people you got to text, you can do that through Progreda. But definitely what makes Progreda the most different is those automations, because other platforms you can send text, but you can only do the text blast. That's it. And that's what I call one-way communication. Progreda is opening that door for the two-way communication with the automation. So you're not manually replying to every single one.
Okay, that makes sense. So is this text like a phone number as far as like 7373 or like 5151? And then text
code. It'll be custom to your area code and it's more than 5 digits. So it's not going to be like an opt-in number. It's going to be a real phone number in your area code that you choose.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so if you go into settings and phone numbers, you can actually choose it on your area code.
Okay, perfect. I didn't see that. I still need to I logged in and I seen the dashboard, but then I just had several questions. So thanks. I appreciate the training.
Yeah, feel free to email us at support. So if there's anything else that we can help you with, we'd be happy to get you started, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. And then Ian, what's one action item after today's presentation? And that's okay if you can't share, no worries. Don't want to put anybody on the spot. After I asked everybody to share, huh? Awesome. And then Jeff C. Cunningham, what's one item that you're going to work on after today and that won't scare Ken?
Yeah, save the best for last. Thanks to Felice, Lori, man, Lori and Andy, you guys are like the next Formosi and Layla with the way you guys work together. I'm so impressed. But I do want to say thanks to Felice, who actually linked to brandisforever.com. I'm actually going to go do a quick webinar for it to promote it right away. Andy sent me a whole thing on automations we're really going to focus on. I already linked up the number to that, so I'm going to go with my 727 number. So that already took action on that. So hopefully we can get stuff in Progreda. That's stupid that I did it that way before. And then the one action step we're doing. See, look, I'm getting a call right now. I wonder if this is the Progreda number. It's really just what was it? Just basically getting the pipeline done. Yeah, see, that's it right there. So we got that up. I'm gonna record a new VSL letter for that, but I got it up there. You guys did it well. The back end team putting up with me, getting me focused is really awesome. Andy, I appreciate all you guys. So look forward to more of this going forward. So definitely get the sales pipeline and automated.
For those of you guys who are doing like digital branding, digital products, one of the reasons we create this to have on this page to have a GIF is to, number one, show that it's a video with the play button. But when they click the play button, what do we ask for? Bada bing, bada boom, a lead gen.
Name and email.
To start the business relationships. Because nowadays there's so many people who will go to your website. It's not their fault or anything, but there's so much noise. And in order to cut through the noise, you got to be able to stay in contact with your lead or your prospect. So by putting that on your site, they click that. Once that opens up, okay, put in my information to go to the next page. The iPhone does it automatically sometimes for you guys anyway. And then you generate a lead in your Progreda account. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate everybody sharing. We definitely, like I said, want to make sure we're giving you guys the highest value by being in the Progreda community. There are more events coming up. The next one is on November 10th, same time as this one, 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys want to take a screenshot and add these to your calendar, but we will also send an invitation. And then after that, it's going to turn into a little bit later. Then the December 8th, it's going to be from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But again, there's going to be a lot more sections from now until April 6th because we want to give you the highest value. Keep those questions coming, and we love to also grow alongside with you as your business is growing. So don't hesitate to let us know, me, Felice, or Vanessa, if there's anything else we can help you guys in.
Awesome. Also, by the way, I just opened on my Instagram. I just saw a post on my Instagram on the Progreda account. Guess what? This was probably done on the Progreda social planner, where it was automatically uploaded all at once, and the social planner posted that on Instagram while we were here. So, hey guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Felice, Lori, please meet me in 401.
Thank you all. And just as a glimpse, the next one will focus on social planner. So I'm glad you bring that up. So stay tuned, everybody, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.